On this episode of the world's most important hip-hop podcast, from the streets of NYC, all the streets, to the National Palace in Norway, and now to a world of rapping dinosaurs? Another inspiring tale of entrepreneurial success on the hip-hop tip. Check out my talk with MC, event host, and creator of Rhymosaurs, Zeps. My name is Manny Faces. This is Hip-Hop Can Save America. Let's go.
The thing about hip-hop today is it's smart. It's insightful. The way that they can communicate a complex message in a very short space is remarkable. And a lot of these kids, they're not going to be reading the New York Times. That's not how they're getting their information.
My hip-hop will rock and shock the nation. Hip-hop culture is more than music.
Peace to you and speak the truth. Show 'em what peace can do in their reach for you.
My hip-hop will rock and shock the nation. Rap is something you do. Hip-hop is something you live.
So hip-hop didn't invent anything, but hip-hop reinvented everything.
This is Baby Girl Faces, and this episode is brought to you by...
Though I knew him when I was running the now-defunct Birthplace magazine, an online publication that I created to cover New York area hip-hop, I really got to know Zeps in Norway. I was there covering a hip-hop theater festival in Oslo called Speakerbox, and there were a bunch of New York folks presenting some really innovative work, including Baba Brinkman, who's been on this show, and the late, great Craig Grant, the brilliant actor and poet known as Mums. I found it fascinating that Zeps was not only the festival host, but that it wasn't a random booking. Zeps was pretty big in the hip-hop scene in Norway. Yeah, there's a hip-hop scene in Norway. Now, over the years, it was really interesting to see this Brooklyn-based indie rapper show up and rock New York's fabled end-of-the-week showcase, then be hosting a festival in Oslo, then be freestyling on Jimmy Fallon. He was quite literally everywhere, doing all the things. Somehow, as I'd find out later, often while working full-time in the corporate world. You know, as a speaker and hip-hop advocate, I work hard to convince folks who are less familiar with hip-hop culture that an authentic connection to this ever-evolving, creative, cross-cultural, inclusive phenomenon gives you something of a superpower when it comes to pivoting, to creating, finding, or remixing opportunities that others might not see. You know, make $1 out of 15 cents. Get in where you fit in. And I often talk to young folks and let them know, even if you don't end up a mega superstar, there are plenty of opportunities where your artistic and creative hip-hop identity can make you some money doing what you love. From streets and stages in New York City to living and working in Europe, and now as creator of a great children's book series called Rhymosaurs, Zeps is as good a case study as you'll find. Now, before we get to it, remember, you can get a ton of inspiring and innovative hip-hop news and views via my free newsletter, mannyfaces.substack.com. You can support this show and the newsletter so we can remain independent and unbothered by the need that others have to dumb down the culture. Visit patreon.com/mannyfaces. Now, without further ado, here's my conversation with Zeps. My man, Zeps. What up, my friend?
I'm good, dude. I just realized I still have my green screen up, so you could put wacky things behind me. I don't know how that works.
That might be fun. The things that we could do with video nowadays. Listen, this is long overdue, man. I appreciate you taking the time to kick it with me. We've known each other for a while, and you're doing a bunch of cool stuff. You've always done a bunch of cool stuff, so that hasn't changed. And I figured it's long overdue that we get you on here to talk about all your wonderful endeavors, past, present, and future. So Thanks again for your time, man.
Thank you.
I want to go back real quick. I'm lucky enough that I know you. Some of the guests I don't know very well. We spent some time together overseas in a far land far away called Norway. And
crazy.
Now it's not. Now I want to bring that up not because it's a humble brag that I was out in Norway chilling with you and some other good folks.
The Vikings.
The Vikings, but you've been out there a few times, and I'm curious. I want to take it back to like kind of the rap stuff that you did, and why you were overseas and what that relationship was all about, just so people get an idea of like who you are, what you do, and what you did.
Word. Honestly, the Norway thing kind of changed my life. and more changed my path as an MC. Because when I went
Mm.
there in 2007 for the first time, I was in my late 20s and I was still trying to be a rapper, like get signed and be on Arista Records or be on
Yeah.
LaFace Records. You know what I'm saying? I was really trying.
Right. Yeah.
It didn't work out. But being in Norway showed me that boom bap culture was like appreciated. So that's what
Mm.
made me want to move there. And then I ended up 2 years later, just spent my own money and kind of became a nomad, musician,
Yeah.
vagabond, drifter in Norway and Scandinavia.
Yeah.
And then, again, I was pursuing this rap dream, trying to be a rapper, warming up for all the big American acts in Denmark and Sweden. It was crazy. I battled disaster like 11 years ago in Malmo.
Mm.
That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know that happened. But Norway instead was like, hey, have you ever hosted a dance battle? And I was like, no, but they needed a host in English, somebody that could cater to all the
Mm.
different countries visiting Norway to battle.
Right.
And I got the freestyle wit. I'm quick ideas.
Yeah.
So I jumped in there. I volunteered to host. Little did I know they paid me.
Oh,
I was
it's
just
nice side benefit when that works.
yeah. Their names are Soul Sessions Oslo. That's the name of the crew.
Mm.
They gave me my first ever dance battle hosting gig, and then I started to reappreciate the element of emceeing because I wasn't just focused on rapper and fame and MTV Movie Awards. That wasn't a thing for me anymore. Now it was learn about popping and learn what semifinals are and get into this art of event hosting.
Mm.
And that's how my continuation. It's why I met you at Speaker Box was because I'm hosting all kinds of festivals in Norway because of the dance battles and
That's
now
what's
corporate stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's up. This is a long time ago now, but my first chance to get into Europe, right, was because of hip hop. So I was covering the Les Originales festival, which happened in Lyon, in France, and it was like they'd done it for 10
Beautiful.
years. I love
Beautiful
Lyon.
city.
First place I've been into in Europe, and still my best trip. I've been a few other places, luckily, but that was special.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a 4-day hip hop festival, and it was their 10th anniversary. And I'm bringing this up because I want to point out what I noticed over there, and maybe you'll be able to talk about this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They had b-boy, b-girls spread out in the town center, right? There's this town center, and like on the balcony of like the 600-year-old building that used to be like the governor's mansion, DJ Babu is spinning, right out into the town.
I know that area because
center.
they have a lot of those steps. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. So then over here you have the cafes, and this is Easter Monday, right? So the Monday after Easter, everything stays closed, but the people come out. And so you have cafes, you have people sitting, drinking their beer in those weird shaped glasses, and they're all hanging out. And there's graffiti artists painting these giant like replica trains, and it's all these folks out here that are not hip hop fans at all. They're just Lyonnais. They're just townsfolk.
They're like, this is happening. This
is happening, and we're gonna watch it. We're gonna look. We're gonna engage. We're gonna walk around. We're gonna pay attention to it. And like, I can't even see if and all elements were being represented. And you think about like if someone had done that in New York City or the Mecca, the birthplace of hip hop, or any big city in America, how many people would just walk by and be like, I ain't got time for this. I'm not here for this, and they're just gonna walk by.
I'm on my lunch break. I can't. I got to keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah. So I wonder what it is. And my thoughts were that, art, culture, it's such an older, community. It's such an older civilization in Europe, like I said, that building is 600 years old. It survived the bombing, in the war. Is there appreciation different? And we hear this all the time from, American artists who go overseas. Explain that phenomenon of how Europe treats hip hop specifically.
That's a good question, man. I did notice, you know what piqued my interest was when I was running around Bergen and Oslo in 2007.
Yeah.
Every poster I saw on like the Post No Bills and like the concerts that were happening in Norway,
Yep.
It was like Nonfiction, Primo, Tony Touch spinning live club night, Talib Kweli, whatever. It was like all this like real underground stuff, like cellar dwellers, like, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like
Yeah.
boot camp click people, like, you know, duck down
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
So it's 2007 and I'm looking around going like, these are the big concerts.
Mm.
It was no pop. I mean, there was pop music. My bad. There was,
Right.
but my eye was like, oh my God, Large Professor live in Oslo.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I realized for OGs, you get 20 people to see you in Queens, but you go to Bulgaria or you go to Croatia and you're rocking for 3,000 at a sick festival that you mentioned that has graffiti and b-boys. And I
Yeah.
think because we started hip hop and they kind of like embraced it,
Mm.
I guess they look at it like, oh, Bronx is like, I got to visit there. I got to go see. You
Right.
know, some people do that. Some people make
Yeah.
that trip and go to
That's true.
Sedgwick.
That's true. The pilgrimage.
So, and then, you know, when I'm out there, I got the accent. I got the Brooklyn accent. It sticks out. And you do a little better. You know, you get noticed, you do your thing. And
Yeah.
it really helped me embrace the culture more, man, because I wasn't even into any breaking stuff at all. And I feel
Right.
bad about that. I was 27 when I finally started rocking with B-boys.
Right.
Like rapping on stage with
Right.
B-boys killing it right behind me or next to me. I don't
Mm.
want to say behind me because chill with that. Like I got to share the stage with them.
I understand.
I was 27 and it was 2007. And that's kind of crazy. For the kid from Brooklyn, it took that a quarter century for
Right.
me to rock with B-boys like in another country.
Right. Yeah.
And now
I
now
mean,
I love it. Now I'm all about it.
that we lament these things, us elders, statesmen of statespeople of hip hop, that we can, it still exists. It's still loved. It's still passion. There are people who do it.
Yeah.
You just don't always see it here. But, I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that testimony that it's still alive and well. And it's something that
I
we
love
can
it.
learn from what we passed on to other countries that we now maybe need to adopt that mentality back. So, I appreciate that. Tell me about, so you mentioned Brooklyn, you mentioned growing up. Like, what was your background history? What was your connection to hip hop from the beginning?
I grew up in a wacky part of Brooklyn called Gravesend or Sheepshead Bay. I was right on the border.
Mm.
So, and I had an Irish Italian stepfather. I'm Puerto Rican, but
Right.
you can hear how I talk because of my neighborhood. I can't. It's always gonna have that, bro. What are you, Manny Faces, bro? What is that, He-Man? Is that a He-Man reference? And he made it his name. Does his head turn around? Can he spin his head and change his mood? Manny
Right.
Faces, bro. I had the action figure. What are you kidding me? That's just how I talk. I can't help it.
Yeah, I got
So
you.
that's my part of Brooklyn. It was real fun. It was like we had a lot of parties, crazy stuff in the neighborhood. We were the Avenue U boys. That was AUB. That
Mm.
was the
Okay.
acronym. So it was regional. It wasn't like
Right.
a gang name or it wasn't anything like that. It was more like
Right.
we're from Avenue U. And we
Right.
were East Side Avenue U. And there was Avenue U boys on the West Side that were not even, they were completely separate. But
Mm.
we never ever clashed because we were both repping the same avenue. So we always were just like, hey, how you doing? Well, nice to meet you.
Interesting. Okay.
West Side, East Side, what up?
Okay.
It was very wild. Very iconic, like little like restaurants like Rollin' Roaster. I don't know if you've ever been to there.
No.
LMB Spumoni Gardens. It's like the square pizza with the sauce on top. People
Yeah.
come from far away to come eat at these places.
Mm.
It's a different vibe. It's also all connected to like, so my area was Brighton Beach and Sheepshead, and then you got We Be Foolish and Jahan and Mike Swift, and then boom, that's where you got Nems and Coney Island. It's all one area. It's the way
Gotcha.
Nems talks. It's the same kind of,
Yeah.
it's, and when I went to the Bronx, I was Puerto Rican. When I went to Spanish Harlem, I was Puerto Rican
Right.
because
Right.
I told, hey, what's going on? They're like, what do you sound like the Sopranos? I'm like, I can't help it.
Right.
So
I
that was
got you.
my hip hop, like I grew up on 90s hip hop, but at the same time that I was around the How You Doing kids,
Yeah.
my high school was in Manhattan. So I had to commute on the subway every day to the city, to Midtown, the High School of Art and Design. We got a lot of alumni like Mobb Deep and Jay Mills, like rappers. And being a Brooklyn kid, having to travel to the city every day for 4 years, I then became like an all city, five boroughs adventure kid where I was like
Right.
constantly crashing at my boy's house in Kew Gardens in Queens. I was in Parkchester a lot, Co-op City sleepovers. I was in East Flatbush. I was in Staten Island heavy. I was in Corona heavy. I was in Flushing heavy. and then my accent and my voice became city. Like I got a
I was
Brooklyn
gonna say,
accent, but
I was gonna say, what does that do when you get that, all city, like to New people don't know from not, if they're not from New York, like to have it all city means you're worldly without leaving your
yeah.
city.
And some people you can live in your little bubble. You live in like
Right.
Mill Basin, or you live out in like, somewhere in Rockaway, Queens. That's your little world, and
Oh,
you don't
that's a
really
whole,
go to
yeah.
But even like I say done, because a lot of my friends from Queens, yo, was popping done, like on some
Right.
Mob Deep
Queensbridge
kind
stuff.
of
Yep.
Queensbridge,
Yeah.
but that's not where I'm from.
I got you.
But
Yeah.
I think it was good. It shaped what I was, because I appreciated Manhattan. I appreciated what I had. It was my playground. But back in the neighborhood, it was still like, it was real, dude.
Yeah.
Baseball bats and like crazy fighting and drugs. It was wild.
Where did you start? Where did you start? Well, when did music, or want an MC
High
or
school.
get involved in the arts? Yeah.
That same time that I was like in my neighborhood and going to high school, kids were doing in high school, kids were doing lunchroom beats.
Yep.
Oh, I'm probably shaking the camera. Yeah, right now with Manny Faces on the podcast freestyle. Like, wow. And I would rhyme about school lunch and
Right.
like the old teacher who had the crazy turkey neck. I'd rhyme about that shit.
Right.
But then I was like, rapping about
playing
school.
around.
I'm a goofball. I also noticed that people enjoyed it, and like girls thought it was cool if I rapped about the hat that was black and yellow. I'm the kind of fellow. I got pejuelos like abuelo, and they were like, "Oh, he rhymed about my hat."
Right.
Hey, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Icebreaker.
Right.
House parties, freestyling at a house party. I did all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did all right. You get people spark you up. You get free beers because of it. Oh, he mentioned my Tom Brady jersey.
Yeah.
That was sick. Here's a freaking Modelo, bro. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, in the neighborhood, my friends, the Brooklyn, the Italian kids, and they were rhyming too. So I had this like double life of like trying to be serious with the Brooklyn kids, but silly with my high school friends.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. So I appreciated being lyrical and having humor. So that's why I loved Big Pun, and I loved Ludacris, and I loved Sean Price, because MF Doom, there was always humor. Yeah. Humor in the rhymes. So,
Yeah.
While I'm listening to all this 90s hip hop, I'm still listening to like Gloria Estefan and Bette Midler and Linda Ronstadt, the stuff my parents were listening to,
Sure.
The Carpenters.
You gotta get some Linda Ronstadt, man. You gotta.
Yeah, Nat King Cole. I'm crushing that.
Yeah.
And then I'm noticing samples. Oh, that's Sting. Nas is rhyming on Sting because I listened to that music.
Yep.
That was it for me. Yeah. Just trying to be a rapper, dude.
Yeah. Putting out some music here and there, putting out some like releases, hitting the stages. New York City had a great bunch of breeding grounds, so to speak.
My rap college was pretty much EOW was like my university, and I had 3 professors that a lot of us know. Vice and Zoo and Pro were my professors in a way.
Yeah.
Because that was my like dojo. Oh, they called it the dojo. Yeah, I forgot about that. It was my place where I could train and practice and I got thick skin there. I learned how to lose. That's huge.
Right.
I learned how to lose, and get better. So the open mic scene was beautiful. And then, of course, all the different battles and the freestyle competitions. All of that made me a good MC for the dance battles. Because I'm doing like Freestyle Mondays and I'm doing a MC challenge and winning. Now I'm in another country and I'm telling the organizer, yo, bring me a box of objects, bro. What? Just a box of random shit. Trust me, it's going to be sick.
Right.
And then boom, hey, we got to kill 5 minutes. The semifinals, the judge is taking a shit in the bathroom.
Right.
All right, kill 5 minutes. Bring the box. Grab the box of stuff.
Right.
DJ split, and I'm pulling things out of the box, killing it in front of a bunch of European people that appreciate that vibe.
I always say that not to cut you off, I always say that like not to say failed rapper, not a failed rapper, but anyone who, works the rap thing, right? Whether they become whether they become a star or not, is a better communicator, is a better public speaker, is way more confident, they in front of crowds. They're not their confidence isn't
Yeah.
right. So you have those skills taught to you by,
It's true.
rap. And now you were able to
Because of
use
the four
them in a,
elements.
yeah, 100%.
And what you said earlier, like when you were in Lyon and you saw that there was graph happening, boom, with the DJ spinning, boom, there was people on the mic, boom, and there was people dancing, that's all four elements.
Right.
When I noticed that in Europe, I was like, I need to, which is crazy. I'm saying I need to bring this back home. Like
That's
it's
what I'm
where
saying.
I'm from where that started,
Right.
but I was like, I have to combine this. So then I started doing shows in New York again. Norway inspired me to throw parties with a projector and a Street Fighter tournament. Like video games is part of hip hop. So I was like, if I'm trying to make my shows fun, I'm gonna invite dancers and I'm gonna have a fashion show and I'm gonna have a Street Fighter tournament. And that's why I started to try and do different things, right? Mix the elements. While I'm pursuing the rap thing back in New York, I'm now working in offices again, and I started working at Audible because I know you spent some time in Newark.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm being a rapper and being a host overseas. I'm doing corporate rap and bringing DJs to the office, and I'm getting my DJs hired for company Christmas parties, and they're flying me to festivals to host game shows and freestyle.
Yeah.
I'm doing hip hop content for the suits while I'm doing international dance hosting.
Right.
And learning how to both sides. I can't curse.
Mm.
I can't use foul language for the dance battles, and I can't curse for the all hands meeting.
Right. Right.
So,
In the conference room.
In the conference room, you can't drop an F-bomb.
Yeah.
So that set me up for being able to do it on all avenues, and then why I wanted to start doing the kids' books. So it was like a path that kind of like, the Europe thing and then the working at Audible thing, butt heads in a good way. Instead of like, I used to have to be like Darkwing Duck when I was working at the like temp agencies and the law firms.
Yeah.
I'd have my little blazer on and my tie and how you doing? And then
right. Hip hop man.
Change in the bathroom and go enter a battle. I was like, going to a bragging rights battle back in the day,
Yeah.
after work. So
it's funny.
Audible let me do both. They were like, you could be Clark Kent and you could be Superman.
Yeah.
Just keep doing your regular job and we'll feed you this hip hop work.
I love that, man.
And that was
Isn't
crazy.
That great?
Yeah.
Listen, the folks I used to work with that we ended up branching off and doing podcasts and such, we're in the journalism world. But now, they call me, they know my government name. They paid me for 20 years. But now I'm Manny Faces.
Yeah.
I get to walk around and take my persona out into the world and have that freedom, and some places. That. I mean, that's really and this is why I want to talk to you so much. You've done so much pivoting and picking up, different clues, and offshoots of what you've been doing. Not everyone sees those opportunities or takes advantage of them or recognizes them. How intentional is that? Or how is it that you just happen to have a knack for saying, oh, there's something I can do over here. Let me try to flip it. Like, can others learn from it? I want others to say, oh, I could do this.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, when you get older, there's an age gap on rapping. There's so many OGs. I mean, everyone I mentioned earlier, they're all in their 40s and 50s, and they're still traveling to Europe and performing in Italy and I love that. What I mean is, because that wasn't my path, you have to find professional ways to use those skills and apply it. If hip hop is everywhere in the world, it's in every business. You just have to find your way to provide that. Even on my business card, it says hip hop consultant, because it makes sense. Like, hire a guy that knows how to get a good DJ and get real b-boys to your event, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it did just kind of happen. It's like the Audible thing just happened because I was a temp and then I got hired. And the dance battle thing was just because I was in Norway trying to make it as a rapper, and it just kind of happened. But when it just falls in your lap, you just run with it and just be like, all right, I got to make this work. And then I kept pivoting, like you said, where now I'm writing children's books, full circle, teaching it to kids and doing assemblies in schools.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, I saw
go ahead.
An article on LinkedIn with Mickey Facts doing similar stuff where he's helping rappers learn ways to use their skill and get ghostwriting jobs and produce and license music for cartoons. Like, it's simple stuff. But if you teach more kids and youth that you're not all going to make the NBA, but you could play in Turkey.
Right.
And that's kind of cool too, bro. You're chilling in Turkey in a nice apartment and you're making a nice salary and you're balling in Turkey, and then maybe you make it back to the NBA.
It's true.
That happens.
Yeah.
But the education stuff, again, it was more of a feeling old thing. I remember, dude, it was actually Supreme Bars. My wife was pregnant. I took the subway to enter Supreme Bars with motivation because I had a pregnant wife. I was like, I'm going to win. I need that gift card.
Sure.
I remember that the prize was like a $100 Visa gift card.
Yeah, sounds
and I
right.
was like, yo, I need that.
Right.
So I won. I get the trophy, get the gift card. And then I start feeling like, yo, my pregnant wife is home and I should be next to her ready to make a sandwich with peanut butter and pickles if she's got a wild craving. But here I am gallivanting around Manhattan, pursuing my dream as a rapper, and I should be doing the right thing. I spent half the gift card to take a taxi home, to get home in 20 minutes. I didn't want to take a 2-hour subway journey.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought of Rhymosaurs, was that morning when I woke up. All night I stayed up thinking, what can I do and continue rhyming for my kids? I got up, I made breakfast, I took a shower, and the name popped in my head.
Showers are great for that stuff.
Showers are crazy. Think tanks.
That's
I thought
that's it.
Robots, I started with robots, then aliens, then monsters. I even was going to go vehicles and something with trucks. And I kept going full circle, and I couldn't find a name like that I can combine hip hop with monsters, hip hop with robots, hip hop with monster trucks, monster truck robots. That's 2 Transformers.
Right.
And then
the trademark violation.
Yeah. And then I got out the shower, and it was rhyming dinosaurs, and I was like, oh, I think I got something. And then I smashed the 2 words into one, Rhymosaurs.
Yeah.
I screamed at my wife. I was like, babe, come here.
Right.
I need to use your computer. I got to Google something. She was like, huh? You bugging out? What's up? I was like, I got to Google something. And we Googled it. No, it didn't exist. And then the next day, because I had to go to work, the next day I went on LegalZoom.
Yeah.
Boom. Trademarked it.
Right.
The name. Got the logo done in a week with a homie from Audible, Jason Merlino. What up, bro? He took my little hand style and put the little S with the tail. That was his idea. He killed it.
Nice.
Then the very next day on LegalZoom again, I trademark and copyright the logo. And boom, that was 2017, I think, or maybe 2016, 2017.
Yeah. Short path to how you self-publish. Yeah. You didn't. This is not a
KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing with Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. So was this something you knew about, or you just figured I have to learn about it now that I'm going to do a book, but how do I now get it out to the public? Or did you have some background in that already?
I had to learn, but I had help at Audible because Audible is an audiobook company. So I actually did the first audiobook through them. And that was a dope process. Shouts to ACX, Scott Jacoby, Michael Stover, Charles Clerk, Nicole. I love those people. They helped me grow crazy in Audible. Like, gave me my start. I was on TV. I was on Jimmy Fallon. I was on like Boomer and Carton. I was on all these like shows rapping, and they were like, yeah, take off work. Come at lunch. Just let me go on TV. And I was like, yo, so I love those people. Anyway.
That's very cool.
This chick, Hannah Wall, she worked there too. She put me onto KDP, and she was like, publish it yourself because you got indie publishers that'll gank you and charge you money, and then they use that same process.
Right.
Cut out the middleman, So
yeah.
And it felt like trying to get a record deal, dude. It feels the same way right now. I'm selling albums out of my trunk like Too Short, indie publishing with Amazon. But I'm still trying to get on a big label like Scholastic or Penguin or Random House. Yeah. And I need a literary agent, which is like having an MC, having a manager, because you can't send unsolicited demos to Electro Records. It's the same thing, dude. I'm not even kidding.
I know the process of trying to get a literary agent very well.
Yeah. I feel like I'm trying to be a famous rapper again. I'm like, you know what?
And then, no, thank you. We don't. At least they give you some no's. Yeah. We don't align with this at this time, but it sounds great. Thanks.
New York taught me to do it yourself. My stepfather and my papi in Puerto Rico told me to set goals and do it yourself. My stepfather told me, buy a shovel when it's snowing, shovel snow, make money. Invest some of that money into a second shovel and invite your boy. Double the manpower, double the elbow grease, more money, more snow.
Yeah.
White gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little things like that, bro. Like it goes
Yeah.
a long way. And then now I'm in this world.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm paying bills. I'm investing money. I'm helping my family. I'm 401k in it. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm doing all right. But now I want more because I'm like, I see what I'm doing. I'm like, damn, bro.
Yeah. I mean, this is something
I
that
want
obviously
more.
can go. This is something that can obviously go into different, mediums. Clearly, I'm sure you have plans for that. Let me ask you one thing. Taking it back to hip hop, all your experiences as an indie artist, you touched upon this, trying to get a record deal, pivoting, going overseas, doing corporate stuff. It's all like deviations from the path, but they're good. It's more like a branch of a tree, and you're just like soaking up all the.
Roots.
What did your experiences? How did they help you get this book thing going?
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, were there any ways that it hurt you that you had to say, okay, this isn't like trying to be an MC, and I had to get out of an old habit?
Oh boy. It set me up pretty good because, like, for example, the illustrator, Charles Ugas, he's the best. He did mad album covers for me and my crew. So I already had like this ill chemistry with him where I would send him an idea and he would draw an album cover and he would nail it. And I was like, damn, dude. Like, yo, can you draw me a post-apocalyptic literary scholar warrior? And I did a song, bro. I did
it's like the AI. It's like the AI now.
Yo, for real.
Yeah,
oh my God, he is like he's a human version of that. I did a song with Yesh, Eternal Suarez, and Nems like 5 years ago, and my boy from Norway, and he drew the single cover. And I literally text him, I'm gonna send you the art too. Maybe you can like pop it in there.
Yeah.
Post-apocalyptic literary scholar warrior, and he killed it, bro. He's reading a book with skull armor and like it's amazing. So I had an illustrator. I knew how to write because of my extensive years writing songs and but at this point that I'm writing Rhymosaurs, I was already writing jingles, getting paid by licensing companies, getting my songs used in cartoons. Like I've been doing that. Then at the same time, Audible set me up to learn about publishing and copywriting your own stuff. I copywrote the artwork under the artist's name. To protect him if this thing pops off on, like you said, the next medium, they can't screw him over because I'm smart and I put the art under his name 100%.
Right.
So that even I can't screw him over. I'll never do that to him, but we're like, this is our thing forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I learned that business practice because I worked at a big ass company. Like 600 people with a business development department and a social media department and a data analytics department and a marketing department, HR. What else? Tech.
Yep.
When you're the podcast Manny Faces guy, you're all of those guys.
Yeah.
You have to be
I learned that from working at jobs and also having that hip hop sensibility of we just gonna flip it, we're gonna remix it, we're gonna make it work. Yeah.
Oh, what happened? There's no more cones for the ice cream. Heat up some Eggos, bro, and make a little sandwich. Make a little sandwich, bro. Oops, we ran out of cones.
Right.
My hip hop brain tells me, grab some Eggos, cut them in half, toast them, put ice cream in the middle with some chocolate syrup, and you make a sandwich. Flip it, remix it. So that's how I always go approach life. And now with the teaching it at schools, the principals and stuff are bugging out because they're like, we have this budget, we have that. I'm like, oh, sick. I'm going to bring a DJ, a B-girl, and a guy to help show the kids how to do bubble. I bring all 4 elements to these assemblies.
Great. That's
because
great.
They're paying me so much that I'm realizing I can't handle 500 kids alone with a bump box and a microphone.
Right.
I need a team. So then I get to do the montage like in a heist movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you have to start picking your team and who's going to help you rob the safe. So
opening now, Zeps 7.
Yeah, the 7. Yeah. Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
And then I hit up some DJs. Oh, this guy has work. He can't do it. Oh, he's watching his kids. He can't do it. Boom, he can do it. Hit up the
little network. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's amazing. I love it. And then I bring that I educate. I'm showing how the four elements started in the Bronx. I'm explaining how like it's called breaking because it's the drum breaks of the record. I'm telling them that breaking's in the Olympics in 2 years, and they're like, "Oh my god, 3 years,
Yeah.
1 year, 2 years,
Yeah.
next year,
Soon.
soon." All of this is like snowballing, and it's awesome because I'm
Yeah.
branching out. I'm in the Bay. I'm in LA. I did it a bunch in Norway already. I did Rhymosaurs events and school visits and school tours already in Norway. Like I'm already fusing it, doing workshops,
Yeah.
all because of the rap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I can't hate on that.
That's why, every time I wanted to talk to you and get you on the show and talk about all the things you're doing, you then ended up doing another thing. So it was great because now it's like by the time I get you, you've done all the things. So with that in mind, as we wrap up a little bit, what is next and what can you, don't give away your secret sauce and all your business plans and all that. But what do you think, what are you working on? What do you think it's going to be next? You know what I mean?
I'm enjoying what's going on right now because I'm getting steady gigs. I'm doing a lot of the school stuff. The MC work is crazy. I'm doing fundraisers. So that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
But I got another book coming out. Probably we're going to push book 5 for the Olympics. We actually have a B-boy character he's a stegosaurus with plates on his back. He's Norwegian B-boy, so I'm giving a big love letter to Norway with this one because he's from Oslo and he can't do backspins and power moves because of his plates, and he's bummed out about it. His physicality, it kind of depresses him. But then he meets a B-girl from the Bronx who teaches him to be the best top rocker and be the funkiest B-boy in the battles. He starts winning battles and beating more fancy B-boys with musicality and funk, and that's going to be his story, and that's going to be our next book.
That's what's up.
He so happens to meet an MC from Brooklyn who moves to Norway.
Interesting.
And then they form the Rhymosaurs crew. So that's how it's expanding. We're finally finding a way because the one thing we were missing in all of our books was the breaking culture. So now our next book will do that. Yeah. I'm
just saying I'm not buying a Brooklyn MC moving in Norway. I don't know. I'm not buying that story. Doesn't sound real.
It happened. It happened.
Yeah, man.
I was sleeping on couches and studios, and it was wild. On the subway, it was nuts. And I'm still doing grown man rap. I'm 41 years old. I'm still I'm doing 2 EPs this year with like one producer. I'm on hella verses, and I'm featured on mad people's albums the past 2 years. Just dropping I love writing. I love rhyming. I love putting out songs. I'm re-releasing an album on cassette that it was supposed to be a cassette. I put it on Spotify. TuneCore stinks. They took it down. So I'm like, you know what? It exists kind of in the internet, but it's not streaming. So I want to leave it that way. And I want to just put it on a tape. So
lost tape.
Lost tape. There you go.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing, and I'm just trying to make Rhymosaurs the next SpongeBob or the next Yo Gabba Gabba so that it's in other countries and it's helping kids learn, and it's it's going to be a huge show. I'm going to have a bidding war between HBO Max, Hulu, and Netflix is going to want to get the licensing rights to make the cartoon. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then,
No, go ahead.
Just that's what I see. I want that's the next step. I feel like that's the ultimate step is where I want to go.
Yeah. I suspect you're the one to do it, my friend. So, yeah, man. So listen, I thank you again. Where can people find, Rhymosaurs, find you, all the regular end of interview shenanigans?
I have 2 websites, google.com, and then you put Zeps, Zeps, and then you'll see everything I've ever done. And then my other website is Rhymosaurs.com.
Very cool. Direct, is that what, can you order direct through you, or do you prefer through?
You can go through the website because it just takes you to Amazon anyway. But hey, they're my publisher. I get direct royalties.
Yeah.
DIY, kids. Hustle. Make it happen.
It's becoming an entrepreneur series. I had another wonderful guest on the last episode, DIY. They made, I'll put you onto this. Where is it? University of Dope card game. You ever see this?
Ooh, that's fun. I want to get that for Christmas.
You'd have a lot of fun with it. It's a very fun hip-hop party game where there are no right answers. So it's pretty cool. So check out the last episode. Shouts to A.V. Perkins at University of Dope. Shouts to Zeps and Rhymosaurs. Entrepreneurial spirit lives in hip-hop culture, and there are no better representatives, sir, than yourself, who's out there doing it big.
Shouts to Emmanuel Face Rodriguez. That's his real full. That's where Manny Faces came out. Emmanuel Face Rodriguez. I don't know if you guys knew that. Fun fact. That's his real name.
Secrets, man. Luckily, I can edit it out.
Holler at me when you come to California. I'm near the Bay. So if you're ever by Oakland, San Fran, San Jose, Sacramento, any there, holler. I'm driving now. Let's link up.
I got an April trip. I'll be in Hanford. I'm not, wherever that is. It's somewhere in California. I'm doing speaking. I'll come through. I'm doing a lot of speaking. So I'll try to find some, things to do in the area, and we'll hang out. And then thank you again, man. I appreciate your time.
Let's go Mets. What's up with the Yankee hat?
Come on now. Thanks again to Rhymosaurs creator Zeps. Remember, you can visit his very own website, Google, and also rhymosaurs.com for more information or to purchase the books. He's also on Instagram at Zepstagram and at Rhymosaurs. You can find me on IG as well if you want, Manny Faces Official, or visit mannyfaces.com to get more info or to book me to talk to your school, organization, or business about how lessons from 50 years of hip-hop can help innovate whatever you've got going on. Any questions, suggestions for future shows, or compliments, those are nice, email us at hiphopcansaveamerica@gmail.com. And make sure you're following Hip Hop Can Save America on your favorite audio or podcast app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, we're everywhere. And if you prefer the visuals, please smash that subscribe button at youtube.com/mannyfaces. If you like this kind of stuff, you're going to really dig my free newsletter filled with stories like this, hip-hop fueled innovation and insight, plus upcoming events, and an editorial here and there, a manifesto, if you will. That's at mannyfaces.substack.com. And if you feel inclined to help support the show and the newsletter, allowing them both to stay fully independent and unbeholden to any corporate interests, the way hip-hop should be, visit patreon.com/mannyfaces. I am Manny Faces, and I'm honored to have your attention. I'll do my best to continue earning it. Thank you as always to our brilliant associate producer, Sommer. Check out her amazing initiatives, Hip Hop Hacks, and the Mixtape Museum. Until next time, peace and love.